What's up, Richard?
Good to see you, bro.
You too, bro.
Yeah, welcome.
Love your spot.
Been a while since you've been here.
Yeah.
Got a few new acquisitions. Let's see.
It's looking cool, man.
Nice, thank you. We call this Midway here, the main aisle. Trying to create placeholders for all of these different moments in the counterculture history. This was Dennis Peron's restaurant in San Francisco, the Island. Of course, he helped give us medical marijuana, all of us Californians. Anyway, just a lot of little touch points for the culture. There's your doppelganger there. Let's see, some demonization posters from the plant, Cannabis that is. This is a little placeholder here for music and how music was and is such a powerful tool for change. And of course in the late 60s, with the advent of cannabis and LSD on the scene, music really took on a whole nother dimension. Anyway, this is a placeholder for that. And coming on down here, here's Pebbles Trippett, kind of our grandmother for the movement. She's currently residing down in San Francisco. She was just up here this weekend for the Mendo Cup. And of course, here's some fun posters from the day.
Heard you cut your hair.
I did. In fact, there's a song about that, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, but it goes like this. Howdy.
Looking pretty sharp, mate.
Thank you, sir. So again, placeholders for the culture. San Francisco Bay Area was a real epicenter for youth in the late 60s and 70s, and that's a few books on that. And these are just a lot of eyeball candy here, a lot of posters and ephemera. Oh, there's. I think you like that one.
Yeah. I love this. And Liberty Caps. Good job, honey.
Hey, we're listening to a little Grateful Dead right now. Look at that.
Yeah.
And just vintage posters. Hey, there's Wavy.
Nice.
And on and on. A lot more cool the beats from the late 50s and early 60s. Kind of led to the hipsters of the early and mid 60s, which led to what kind of came to be known as the hippies. And anyway, this section here is kind of an homage on that. And this is a little section here on psychedelics.
And Richard, he goes through these books and really checks them out.
You can go anywhere. And then as we drop down, now we're into more plant-based medicine, mostly cannabis.
Wow.
And more in here on counterculture. This is an original painting done by Larry Todd, showing the trail, if I may call it that, starting down in Silicon Valley and Santa Cruz, and with a legend describing these points of interest. As we go on up Highway 101 and Highway 1 through San Francisco, Silicon Valley, Berkeley. The further north you went, the cheaper the land became. So all the hippies that were going back to the land, as the saying goes, the further north, the cheaper the land, and Sonoma County, it became more affordable. Mendocino County, which is where we are today, Trinity, Humboldt, this area came to be known as the Emerald Triangle. Also birthplace of the solar industry, such as we now know it. Underground comics was a huge part of the counterculture's growth and influence on us youngins. You're either on the bus or not. Hey, there's Ken himself there. Let's see. I co-founded the business Prototype, and these are some original prototypes. We're working on a book of the history of Prototype, 55 years and counting. That's this area here. These tubs represent newspapers, decades worth of newspapers, from prohibition through legalization. So thousands of newspapers. Somebody someday is going to make sense out of all of it. I doubt if it's going to be me, but so we're still tracking the news on this cannabis plant, and so that's what all of these tubs represent is that story. Of course, in no certain order, we're just jumping around here, but this section here is just a few pieces of vinyl, phonograph albums, representing that magical time period of the late 60s. This was the second concert that I ever went to. My first concert was seeing Jimi Hendrix, very fortunate there. Red Rocks, Colorado, in summer of 1968. Several months later, I got to go and see these guys. They were the opening band for a group called Spirit. And it was their first time playing in America. And boy, you'd never want to be the band following this band. Over here is some more media, cassette music, and videos from the era. Of course, Reefer Madness is obligatory. But these are all, a lot of this was sensationalized by Hollywood, but a lot of fun to watch. And, beer, more plant-based, I'm not sure if I should call beer medicine, but tobacco. What a strange trip alcohol and tobacco have been, but nothing in comparison to legalizing cannabis. Wow. Great moments in advertising. Here's a great one. Lead women around by the nose. I don't know how popular that would be in 2025. Not very. Coming down this way. Hi, Annie.
Hi.
Here's some fun visuals from days gone by. Of course, all of these publications are long gone. Print media is disappearing rapidly, and but I'm sure you remember all of these. The early days of High Times, when it was a very worthy publication. All of these publications, they live here in the archive. Coming down this way, countertourism, which kind of started up a number of years ago here in NorCal, including what we call the Solar Living Center down in Hopland, which is an epic destination place. Right there. And just more memorabilia. Here's a volcano. Here's an isomerizer from the mid-70s. Basically, these would turn shit into gold. And this is one of my favorite posters. This represents the youth finding our voice in the late 60s. And this was Telegraph Avenue in Berkeley, People's Park. Four Dead in Ohio. Paris. Students all over the world were finding their voice and taking to the streets and demanding change. And let's get out of this conflict that was called Vietnam. They weren't declaring it a war, and they were drafting young men to go and fight this war that nobody understood why we're there. We have a number of these panels, about 11 of them, and this is but one. There's another one on prohibition, but kind of tough to see. I think you've already seen some of these. But,
Cool.
And just a lot of periodicals showing counterculture. This is a subdivision down outside of Ukiah called Greenfield Ranch. And these were spotted all over the West Coast. Many of them came to be known as communes. So here's a placeholder on all of these intentional communities and communes. This section here is kind of dedicated to what came to be known as the Back to the Land movement, or as some would say, back to whose land? And so we'd move up here in our trailer maybe, and add on to the trailer, and maybe a child would would show up on the scene. You'd have to add on again. We found out that cannabis grew really well wherever redwood seemed to grow, and thus a economy slowly emerged. And the only people that could afford the new technology, which was solar panels, this is what we were using for lighting before, was kerosene lighting, which was very smelly and dangerous. But the tighter the prohibition and the authorities put the squeeze on these folks, it drove prices up. And as the prices went up, $1, $2, $3, $4, $5,000 a pound for a plant, then this culture invested in the new technology, which was photovoltaic solar panels, jump-starting this incredible economy in Northern California in the Emerald Triangle. And Willits used to host the Solar Energy Expo and rallies, 1990, 91, 92, 94. And we would double the population of Willits. People came from all around the country. They converged here to learn about this new developing technology. And now it's gone mainstream. Solar is everywhere, I'm happy to report. And what's next? Everything's just layered on top of everything else, but all sorts of cool, interesting magazines inside of these cases. This is where youth is finding its voice and speaking out. This is a lot of radical kind of stuff here. Intermixed with cannabis, of course. I haven't really done a full separation on it. This is what used to come over from Hawaii. These were called Thai sticks. And in the late 70s and early 80s. These are facsimiles, but these were the bomb whenever these things would show up in town. There we are. Peter Max kind of branded things with his artwork. Archie goes hippie on us. And so this here is all countercultural underground publications of the time. This one was from January of 1975, and I happen to make page 2. There I am in Union Square, San Francisco, selling prototypes.
Legend.
Playboy magazine was an incredible voice for legalization of not only cannabis, but psychedelics. Of course, that word wasn't even in the popular vernacular at the time. But Hugh Hefner donated many thousands of dollars to a new organization called NORML, National Organization for the Reform and Legalization of Marijuana. And they used to give free advertising to this new organization. And so Keith Strope was the founder of that, and now NORML is succeeding in many of the states. It's finally coming to pass. There's a California chapter called CalNORML, and I had no idea that it would take so long to normalize and legalize and decriminalize this plant. But that seems to be where we are still. Here's a little section here on feminism and how the cultures have always been overly heavy with male energy and historians. And the reality is, these are some really cool titles if you get some shots on them. Women were right there at the heart of every important thing that happened, and still is, and are. In fact, without women, we wouldn't be here. So these are just a few of the moments in here that I'm quickly able to get to share with anyone. Just hundreds of what used to be called underground newspapers. All these boxes and tubs are just chock full of very interesting paper, magazines and books, and I've just been chasing this stuff while I can, when I can, while I'm still able to, and as my generation is aging out and checking out, our kids seemingly don't want this stuff, and so I've been trying to acquire it while us are still alive, and I don't want to see any more of this unique culture go into the landfill. So we have more. We've got 50 more of these black tubs in storage, material to process and to clean and identify and inventory. So we're moving forward on this ever so slowly, but we are moving forward, and that's the important thing here. So many moments in time, never enough time to chase all these dreams, but it's been a fun journey chasing all of this stuff, and I think it's a very worthy project. It's given me a lot of pleasure, and hopefully it will with many of you who are following in some of our footsteps.
Thank you, Richard.
You're welcome.
It's a hell of a journey with you,
My
brother.
pleasure.
Thank you, Annie.
Love you, brother.
Love ya. Thank you for coming.
Woo!